Started. Good morning. I'm Alexis Gossick with the Technology Council of Central PA. Thanks so much for joining us this morning for today's tech session. I'm joined by Eric Rensel with Rensel Consulting. Are anticipating a couple more people joining us this morning, but we'll go ahead and get started because it is a bit of a short session this morning. If you wouldn't mind taking a moment to introduce yourself in the chat, that way we know kind of who's on the call today and kind of what lens you're coming through. That would be fantastic. I'm not going to take up any more of your time because you didn't come to hear me talk this morning. You came to hear Eric talk this morning about the exciting things that he's doing. So Eric, I'm going to turn it over to you. Please don't forget to introduce yourself so that we know who's talking.
Thank you very much, Alexis, and thank you to the Technology Council of Central Pennsylvania for giving me this opportunity. I'm excited to be part of the group and excited to be here talking with everybody today. A little bit about me. I have a Bachelor of Science in Engineering from Penn State Capitol Campus. I graduated in 2000. I live in Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania. My son has also been accepted and he'll attend Penn State Capitol Campus next fall. My daughter is a freshman at the Mechanicsburg Area Senior High School, and my wife also works for the Mechanicsburg School District. So we are well planted in Mechanicsburg, is where we live. And the picture here on the right was from homecoming last fall, where my son and daughter were both able to attend this year. And that'll be the only overlap, as he'll be moving on to college and she'll be continuing her high school journey. A little bit of a short bio about me is I have nearly 26 years of experience as an engineering consultant. I worked for the first 25 years at Gannett Fleming in Camp Hill, Pennsylvania. And then in August of 2023, I started Rensel Consulting. I am a woo if you're a strength finder assessment kind of person. And if you're a DISC assessment kind of person, I am an I with tendencies towards an S. So hopefully that helps you find some compatibility with me if we meet each other out at some events. So let's talk a little bit about Rensel Consulting. When I formed this company last year in August of 2023, I really was focused on taking what I've been doing my last probably 10 years and bringing that to the market myself. And that's really focusing on giving advice to people on how to achieve goals that they have for themselves and for their organizations. And so also being somebody who's been involved with technology over the years, I've focused on creating a vision that says, turn thoughts of transformation into actions of empowerment. Everybody wants to be empowered. Everybody wants to have an opportunity to control their own destiny. And so I want to build a company that's focused on helping people do just that, finding the empowerment to push things forward. I've set a mission of helping people and organizations envision, plan, and implement change by leveraging technology and organizational culture. Change can be scary, but it doesn't have to be. If we plan it out right, if we communicate properly, and we have a solid direction that we want to go in, then it can be a success for everybody. I've adopted 4 core values that I try to embody in my career and things that I want to help bring to my clients for their benefit. And that is every opinion matters, always people before technology. We're only as strong as our weakest link, and we should celebrate the norm challengers. That's something that I've been throughout my career. And I think that we find the best solutions when we're inclusive and we listen to people who maybe have a different point of view than what we have. So my services are in 3 main buckets, if you will. Strategic advisory services, like I've been talking about, everywhere from facilitation to looking at a culture, doing some root cause analysis and strategic planning, performance management being chief among the things we have to do to be high functioning organizations. I am also a registered futurist. Took some training on that a few years ago. That's something that I enjoy applying to my work. I did cut my teeth in the transportation sector. You can see all the different kinds of services I can offer as far as that goes. And then also smart cities and communities is something that I've been working on a lot more over the past couple of years. And that's kind of where I want to focus the rest of my conversation on, because I think there's some real opportunities here in central Pennsylvania for us to come together as a community to look at leveraging smart cities and communities for our benefit and for the next generation of people. So, what exactly is a smart city or community or town or region? It's one that prioritizes and engages in activities that enable the efficient use of digital technologies to provide prioritized services and benefits to their community. Remember, one of my core values was people before technology. And that's something that I have brought with me into the smart city space to make sure we're not just a technology solution looking for a problem to solve, but we really develop and implement technology solutions that benefit the people in the communities that they serve. So for the past couple of years, I've had the opportunity to be part of a group that developed a national strategic plan for smart cities. There's a joint federal working group comprised of almost all of the federal agencies in Washington, D.C. And then there's focused work through the Department of Commerce and their National Institute of Standards and Technology. That's really where a lot of the smart cities work in the federal government space is centered. There are a lot of other agencies doing smart city stuff and looking into it, but Department of Commerce and NIST has been designated as the lead agency on it. And so they have a partnership with a nonprofit group based out of Washington State and Oregon that is called Open Commons. And so working with that group, I had the opportunity to participate in the development of the strategic plan that you see a screen capture here for on the right-hand side of this slide. It's called Global Community Technology Challenge Strategic Plan. And so in that strategic plan, the vision for them is to sustain a federally sponsored collaboration among communities dedicated to improving city services and enhancing quality of life through the integration of advanced technologies. And you can see that from their mission, they focus a lot on public-private partnerships, looking at ways to accelerate integrated and advanced technologies to achieve digital transformation. But more importantly, the last few words of the mission is about sustainability, equity, resiliency, and making our communities livable. And that's why I've aligned my thinking with this particular group. They have 3 goals that I think we can look at here in central Pennsylvania and adapt to our own goals within it, within the program, and create our own path forward for how we can use smart cities thinking to benefit our residents. Establishing a research-based scientific foundation. That means that there's going to be opportunities for funding. It means there's going to be opportunities to partner with the federal government to pilot certain projects and see how they'll work in different communities like ours and all across the United States. Broadening the scope and agenda for smart cities to address current challenges and achieve a more equitable distribution of outcomes. Equity, resiliency, sustainability, just like I talked about for the mission. Those are some of the core things that are important to the GCTC, and I think we can benefit from here in central Pennsylvania as well. And then enhancing the national public-private partnerships. Like I said, Department of Commerce through NIST is very focused on enabling economic growth in areas, and that includes supporting and sustaining technology startup companies, people offering traditional technology to the marketplace, and really looking at how we can apply that technology to solve some of our greatest challenges that we have in the region here. So my last slide is one that I'll leave up here for a little while, and that's looking at what NIST sees as their ecosystem of interest as it's come to be known as part of that strategic plan. There's really 2 figures that I brought out of that strategic plan that I wanted to share with you today. And the first one on the left talks about the different sectors. As you can see, almost all of the sectors are represented in that graph there, in that figure, and everything from government side of technology to include private investment in technology. And you can see opportunities for us, I think, to work together with government partners to develop these these goals for our region, to look at things like cybersecurity, which I know members of the Technology Council are focused on, look at energy and water, as we look at what impact electric vehicles will have, regardless of maybe your political point of view on them. But the fact that they will be in some form distributed and implemented, what can we do to grow on that investment, both for private sector success and ultimately for citizen benefit. Obviously, the transportation system is something that I know well. I spent the majority of my career functioning or working in that sector. And as we look at connected vehicles, those are vehicles that communicate with the infrastructure, maybe navigate a signalized intersection different, or connect with other vehicles on the road to improve safety, or whether we look at autonomous vehicles or automated vehicles, depending on how you like to frame that. And, looking at vehicles that drive themselves and interact with micromobility like scooters and other forms of small transportation solutions to come together and make a difference. If we do it right, if we focus our attention the right way, these things can be integrated into our needs in our community, not just as a bolt on or something only available to, certain segments of the population. And so that's important. Obviously, here in central Pennsylvania, we're fortunate. We have a pretty good, resilient infrastructure system, but like other infrastructure systems, a lot of things are becoming outdated and are in need of replacement. We see it happening with our roadway system. Same can be said of our underground pipes, and our wastewater treatment plants, and so on and so forth. And all of these provide opportunities in the view of a smart cities approach for collaboration between private sector and public sector. Again, looking at smart building, IoT applications, the third one down on the right there, a lot of that is private sector driven, because as you know, most buildings are privately owned. And so that's an opportunity for private sector providers to really help take steps towards some of those words that I mentioned as part of the mission, and help us take steps to work together to create better outcomes for everybody, building inhabitants and travelers and people that just live in our communities. I know that the Technology Council and a few other groups are focused a lot on education and workforce development. And I see smart cities and communities approach as not only a technology, an avenue for us to use technology to apply for our residents, but also as an opportunity to draw in people that want to live in an area that's focused on leveraging technology to improve lives. And I think that here in central Pennsylvania, although we're fortunate with the number of industries and technology companies and university system that we have, there's always a need to draw in people to be a geography of choice where people want to live. And that's something that we can focus on if we not just think about the technology investment itself, but if we look at growing the ecosystem of workforce development around this idea of a technology integrated community, then we can help make that value proposition to people and invite them into our community, and like I said, hopefully become a geography of choice. And then, our ability to collaborate with other regions as we look at things. Obviously, we don't live in an isolated area. We're connected to other regions, both within Pennsylvania and outside of Pennsylvania. We benefit a lot from that. I know in my communities, there are people that commute daily back and forth to Washington, D.C. And so looking at Maryland, looking at Washington, D.C., and how we work together with regions to achieve equity, achieve sustainability, like I've been mentioning. And as shown in the bottom right hand bubble of the different technology sectors. And so then if we look at the figure on the right, this is more of a figure around data flows. That's what I would think about as you look at this graphic, right? It says relationships of smart city platforms in the figure title. And so if you think about the different data flows around an integrated smart city system, you've got the three levels. You've got level one, which is your base systems, your central systems. You can see there's sensors, networks, data, computation, cyber physical, privacy, and then some others, right? And then in the middle, you've got our capabilities or our different sectors, just like the figure on the left shows. And so obviously energy, transportation, buildings, as I was saying, and so on and so forth. And then on the top, on level three, you've got sort of what we want to achieve. And we don't, although we have different plans that speak to things we want to achieve, I think that the other thing a smart cities or communities approach does is it allows you to come together with different sectors with different ideas and bring them into a coordinated plan that you can use to make the best investments at the right time. And so I think it's important that we as a community, Technology Council of Central Pennsylvania looks at what are these major regional goals that we want to accomplish and how can the technology community within Central Pennsylvania participate in that. As you saw, I'm not a technology vendor myself. I don't have a product to sell. I'm not selling a software platform. I'm selling ideas and services. And my hope is to join this community and be part of the conversation that helps bring clarity to direction we want to go. And in the meantime, provides opportunities for people and companies with technology solutions that can benefit the people to be able to do that. I think that's a critical piece of a technology-driven agenda that we have to think about as we try to achieve these different goals. And so, altogether, figure two and figure three on either side here, I think that this gives you the total picture of, kind of the broad scale, the 30,000 foot view of where we want to go with the figure two on the left there. And then the more in the weeds version or viewpoint of that from figure three on the right. And as I said, of course, the strategic plan that I spoke of before from NIST is focused on what NIST wants to accomplish in the next few years. But within that, there's going to be opportunities for us if we can be coordinated, if we can be organized, and if we can understand our plan. There's going to be opportunities for us to, whether it be to get funding, to get ideas, or to get commitments and partnerships to align with this federal agency perspective and take advantage of it for the benefit of Central Pennsylvania. And so I know we have just a few minutes left, and so I'll pause there and see if there's any questions or comments from anybody on the line.
Eric, I'm going to chime in with a question, right?
Sure.
It's so refreshing to see the ecosystem right mapped out in the same way that TCCP sees the tech ecosystem within Central PA mapped out. Essentially, there's a seat at the table for everyone, right? In every industry, every sector. It's that collective impact, right? Bringing all of those people together to brainstorm, put ideas together to move forward. I guess my question is, TCCP is working kind of behind the scenes to make sure that as the Tech Council, we're involved and supportive of the efforts and doing what we can to make opportunities available to our membership within Central PA to have a seat at these tables for the discussions that are happening. For companies that aren't traditionally immersed, right, in the smart cities discussion or in this type of project, what would be your recommendation if they're going, well, maybe there is a seat at the table for me? How do I get involved? How do I learn more? How do I figure out where my company may fit in? Do you have, and I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but do you have a suggestion for, like, is there a place to go to stay apprised on the efforts or maybe opportunities? What does that look like?
You mean aside from renewing their membership in TCCP, of course, right?
Of course, of course.
Nice little plug there. But yeah, I think to stick with your metaphor, I think we have to keep building a bigger table in the first place, right? And as far as staying aware of this, I think I talked about open commons during during my opening comments there. I discussed the Department of Commerce and NIST. They all have newsletters that you can subscribe to, and you can specify your areas of interest around smart cities and other interests that you might have. I do think that one of the reasons that I joined TCCP is that I saw this organization as a place to come to pursue this idea as well. And so I think that it's important that we stay aligned, we stay coordinated, and that we reach out and create some government partnership. So maybe this is a tired answer, but I think that you should reach out to your elected officials, the people that represent you, that represent the areas where your companies are based, and tell them that you want to see partnerships between government and technology to solve problems that are not problems, but challenges that face everybody, right? And that you want to be part of that dialogue. And I think we should investigate opportunities even at the TCCP level to create partnerships with government, and so that we are creating that table for people to come and be at, and let TCCP be the conduit through it. I don't just say that flippantly, as a plug for the organization, but I really see the benefit of what this organization is doing to bring the technology community together and explore what's possible, and then extend that into a government partnership where we can leverage the unique innovations that I see across the technology landscape in central Pennsylvania with some of the greatest needs.
I think that that's a wonderful and really well-rounded answer. There's, some things, of course, TCCP is kind of pursuing this table building, right? And getting more chairs around that table to make sure that our members are represented and have a voice and an opportunity. And then some additional things that kind of can support that, right? Newsletters to make sure that everybody's staying on the same page. And I like the idea about contacting the elected officials to make our voices even more heard about the importance of those partnerships.
Absolutely.
Perfect. Thanks, Eric.
Great. Well, thank you very much for having me again today. Like I said, I really appreciate the opportunity to come here and speak with the group.
Absolutely. And thank you for joining us today. I will get an email out to everybody that attended today's session with Eric's contact information. And of course, it'll include my contact information. So you're welcome to have a seat at that table that we're building. But please, if you have additional questions, something pops up as you're thinking about what Eric shared today, please don't hesitate to reach out to him directly, get in touch. He's a great guy and super responsive. So please feel free to do that. Thank you for attending this morning, and I hope that you have a wonderful rest of the day today.
Thank you very much.